I am home.
This is the Horrible Film School. Take a seat and slowly peel open your trapper keepers. I am Chris, and I'm here with Professor Hootie.
What's up, fellas? I'm excited to go amongst the stars.
Aren't we all? Join you on that journey, pal. We are also joined by a man that doesn't need eyes. Professor Joy, a.k.a. Dr. Nasty.
You imagine Doc Brown and fucking Back to the Future, where we're going, we don't need eyes.
Yeah, I thought about that in that moment too. But he's got to do it in like the Fester Adams costume. Little light bulb in the mouth. Before we get into it, I got some titillating news for you boys. I know this is something we've been talking about lately, so I'm going to go ahead and lay it on you here. Uma Thurman has joined Michael C. Hall in Dexter Resurrection, the upcoming sequel series that continues the story of Dexter New Blood. It is still going.
Oh my God.
God, she's just barely hanging on, huh? That fucking waiting for Kill Bill 3 is like, it's wearing her out.
Beatrix Kiddo is legendary.
So, obviously, I haven't kept up with the god-awful, whatever the New Blood show is.
I thought New Blood was the Alaska one, no?
That is the Alaska one. Whatever the new one is, Teenage Dex. The first shot is Original Sin, there we go. The first shot is Michael C. Hall like being brought back to life, and he's giving you like the story of his life. So I guess he survives.
So it's continuing after that, man. It's coming back, baby.
Is he become Jason Voorhees or something?
It's like a whole extended universe now, dude.
Now I'm so lost on this shit. Like, I watched like 2 episodes of the new Dexter show, the ice one. That's how I know it, the ice one.
Cool.
But I didn't even finish the last 2 episodes of the original fucking series.
Oh, wait. The original, yeah. That was fine for the original series. That's the best ending in my mind, probably.
Yeah, but it was like panned as being ass.
The ending of the original was god-awful.
But this was even worse. The one that leads into the next...
What do you mean? It's still ongoing.
The Wonder Kills, or whatever, the Wonder Years, or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
It's not over, man.
It's come back.
Dude is Pennywise. All right, moving on to some more interesting news. The Toxic Avenger reboot will finally release later this year in theaters. You guys know anything about this?
I've never seen it.
It stars Peter Dinklage. How fucking awesome.
As the Toxic Avenger?
Yes.
I thought the Toxic Avenger was like an imposing figure.
That's going to be awesome, dude. I've seen like one still of him
Whoa,
in like a mask.
What are you trying to say, Joy?
That Peter Dinklage is a fucking midget?
He's an incredible actor.
No, he's a
legendary force.
But no, he's a dwarf. They call him dwarves, right? Like a small person.
Little people.
He himself said dwarves was offensive because it insinuates that they're magical creatures and not people.
That's true.
But also in there is Elijah Wood and Kevin Bacon. I'm getting hyped for this thing, dude. Elijah Wood looks like Danny DeVito's penguin, I swear. Like the still I saw of him. He's got like this long, nappy black hair. It looks cool.
I don't mean to be rude and be fixated on height, but Kevin Bacon's going to look huge.
He's going to look huge.
That's the only reason he wanted to be in the movie.
Yes.
The
Kevin
height
Bacon
disparity.
7 foot tall?
I love some bacon. Also, my boy Bobby Eggs, Robert Eggers, has another Christmas movie set for release in 2026. You guys want to take a guess at what he is covering?
I already know, so I'm not going to guess.
Horror film.
Is it a remake, did you say?
Nah.
No, but it's like a classic Universal monster.
Right. It's a pretty broad... There's a lot of these types of movie.
Guillermo's doing Franken. Wolfman just got done. Mummy?
Nah, he's doing Werewolf. WERWULF.
Speaking of Nosferatu, have y'all paid attention to how like there's a bunch of women on social media that want to fuck Count Orlok?
What?
Yes, I could see it, man.
Like he has this very
how to talk
What do you
to
mean
women.
you can see it?
He knows how to
It
talk
is
to
not
a woman,
me. It is your own nature. I am an appetite, nothing more. This motherfucker is seductive, even though he looks like a goddamn ghoul.
Man, TikTok has ruined this world.
Yeah, kind of slowly. Also, got to shout out the Oscars. There's a few horror movies actually highlighted this year. We got 5 nominations for The Substance, 4 for Nosferatu, and 1 for Alien Romulus. Can you guess?
Fucking CGI graphics, I guess.
Yeah. Isn't that like a slap in the face? Like that was our only complaint.
Stupid.
The graphics look like shit.
Wait a minute, that is a good point. I didn't think about that.
But I mean, the
aliens
planets
look
look great. Everything else looked great. It's just like the one glaring Band-Aid was horrible.
That's true.
But I thought it was pretty well represented. The Substance to get a best picture nomination is pretty crazy.
Have you two watched that yet?
I have.
No, I haven't seen it because motherfucker won't stream on the shit I want it to stream on.
Yeah, it's really hard to find. For some reason, it's
Amazon. Like you can find shit on Amazon, but I'm not paying for it.
It's encoded weird in the Internet Movie Database. It's hard to find it, like the specific file. There's some weird like logistics going on there with computers. But yeah, the last 20 minutes of that movie is nuts, dude.
I have yet to watch it because, as you all have learned from the show, I am not the biggest body horror fan, and I feel like it's just all body horror.
It's the most body horror movie I've seen in probably a couple of years.
Worse than Terrifier.
I'd say Terrifier is more of a slasher for me.
You're talking like Cronenberg type shit, right?
Yeah, like The Fly type stuff, like decomposing,
The Fly.
nastiness. But yeah, this movie is definitely a love letter to those movies. But the last 20 minutes is pretty wild. Also, Bobby Eggs, as I like to call him, is confirmed to be writing and directing a new Labyrinth movie. Thought that was kind of interesting.
As long as they bring back my girl, Jennifer Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly.
Woo! God almighty.
She's still around?
Too bad Bowie's not coming back. I don't know what she does anymore. Was she? Nah.
She was starring in that AMC, what's that
Helen
train
Wills?
movie that came out?
God damn it.
Third
It
episode in a
better
row.
not be Helen Wills.
No, not the fucking Helen Wheels, dumbass. The train movie with Chris Evans.
Snowpiercer?
The Snowpiercer.
The TNT television
No, it wasn't
series?
TNT, was it? I thought it was AMC.
Pretty sure it was TNT.
Either way, she's on that show.
There's only room
She
for
was.
one train show on AMC.
I was looking up Jennifer
We
Connelly
all-
pictures and such on Google one day, and I just saw that picture amongst others.
Don't tell me you ventured onto some Darren Aronofsky.
I got some archived sites.
Some Looking for a Dream clips.
Yeah.
When I think Jennifer Connelly, I think Blood Diamond and Digman hiding a diamond in his asshole.
Damn. All right. That's just
Right
straight
there.
where your brain goes.
Right
She's just
there.
got she has really beautiful eyes. That's like her best
All right.
feature for me.
Yeah, man, that's her best feature, bro.
Why? What else is she known for?
Get the fuck out of here.
All right, moving on. I think it's time for
Y'all have learned nothing from
pervert
The
corner of the
Substance.
week. Last thing I got here of note: the director of Barbarian, Zach Kreger, is attached to write and direct a new Resident Evil movie, which I think is highly relevant to the movie we're going to be covering today.
Highly relevant.
I am all for
Highly.
it.
You want to see something new, or you just want to see
Can I
a Resident Evil movie?
Is
Yeah,
there
I
a
want to
for me?
You just love
see.
the
I want to see
franchise.
something that's much more in line with the original Resident Evil, because I didn't think it was that bad of a movie, and it was much more horror oriented than it was like action oriented as the movies became. But I'd love to see one that's like strictly sticks to the storyline of the original
I feel
game.
like they're going to go. Someone wants to do Leon, right? Like that's the most cinematic story.
Yeah, but that's Resident Evil 2.
What do you mean 4?
He was kind of a
him
pussy
saving
in
the
2.
president's daughter. That's the one.
And Leon is the prison break dude. Like that's who I think of for that character.
Prison Break, the TV show.
Yeah, not the bulldog looking dude, but his brother.
Wentworth
Nah,
Miller,
you know who would be a good
Yeah, there you
good
go.
Leon Kennedy? Robert
a younger
Pattinson.
DiCaprio. Yeah, I guess Pattinson's kind of a younger DiCaprio at this point.
Pattinson would be great.
That's where I have a contradiction, because if you look at Resident Evil 5, he got like steroid jacked in the video games. I need that version.
Yeah, that's Chris Redfield. That's a different character.
Oh shit!
Chris
Well,
is
now-
jacked.
Now I'm
Leon's-
confused.
Leon's definitely tall, skinny, like JRPG
Yeah, Chris is on the
adjacent.
fucking
He's the one
roids.
with the
Leon's
emo
more
haircut.
like
He's got like the young
emo,
like,
the emo
DiCaprio
Fall Out
haircut.
Boy shit.
Yeah. Don't
Tall,
waste
skinny
your
boy.
time.
With the nice coat. He's got the nice jacket. Horrible controls in that game. The remake was so much better, dude. Yeah, that's all I got for tidbits around the world. So, with all that in mind, let's talk about today's assignment. Random wheel assigned to us 1997's Event Horizon, which has a blind spot, something I've been probably going to bring up on the pod at some point anyway, so glad it landed in my lap.
Yeah, I've been wanting to cover it for a while, but it's always been one of those that's kind of kicked the can on it because there's so many great sci-fi horror movies out there.
Boy, are there better ones than this.
Genre pictures, if you will. Today's lesson is a simple one. This is courtesy of our Dr. Weir. Hell is only a word. Dude has some cool ass. This is for Jurassic Park, dude. This is some pretty cool dialogue in this movie, man.
Dude, Sam Neill was phenomenal in this movie.
This is what, 2 years
I'm
after?
excited.
No, 2 years. 4 years after Jurassic Park.
Was it 93 to 97?
Yeah. It's crazy to think, like, what I thought of that man in 1997. Obviously, I didn't have any exposure to this, but in my mind, he was a paleontologist until I was an adult, you know. All right, I'll take the reins. Duties fell to me. We'll start with some fan reviews. Go to IMDb here for some positive and negative takes. We'll start with the negative. This is from July 19th of 2020. Peak COVID, if you will. Simply titled, Don't Waste Your Time. I have never heard of Event Horizon until recently, and then I thought, a sci-fi horror movie with Larry Fishburne and Sam Neill, among others? How can I have missed that? The plot sounds interesting, and you can't go wrong with good actors. Turns out there was a reason I had not heard about it. Some people review this as having a deeper than just gore kind of story, but all I see is a series of scary events going down without really pushing the story. And then everything gets revealed in a sentence at the end. This movie could have been about 40 minutes and the experience would have been pretty much the same. Now let's just forget about this movie. 2 out of 10 stars.
My man.
You in line with that? Who do you like and step?
I am lock, stock, and barrel, baby.
You saying this would have been a good episode of Black Mirror and that's about it?
Oh, it would have been a great episode of Black Mirror. 60 minutes, get in, get out.
It was 90. It was pretty brief.
I feel like the movie was pretty tight,
time.
though. Like, I don't feel like it was overlong or anything. I kind of wish it was more overlong, as does the director.
I was going to say, there's definitely some fan service
Zack
there.
Snyder want to be motherfucker.
Zack Snyder. I don't think he's got a 4-hour cut in mind, but
I'm ready to go in on this fucking movie.
tear this guy up. All right, let's go to a better place, a better mind space. From May 21st, 2023, so pretty recent, titled Criminally Underrated. This movie does not get nearly enough credit. If not for the studio trying to water this movie down, we might be talking about it with the likes of Hellraiser and Alien. I first saw this in the theater in 97, and it has only gotten better with time. Great sci-fi with traditional horror elements. The thunderstorms and fog add to the ambiance. Sam Neill and Larry Fishburne give fantastic performances that are not reflected in the box office earnings. I wish we could see the original version that had test audiences fainting. But apparently this film has been destroyed due to improper storage. Highly recommended, 8 out of 10 stars. Everybody loves the actors, man. Can't deny this
That's
cast.
the thing. The actors is one of the highlights of the film. It kind of elevates it from being kind of campy.
From mid to top mid.
Yeah, I don't think the movie is mid by any stretch because of the performances and the character development and the way the actors portray their individual characters.
All right, let's pop into the man's behind the camera. I only got 2 to highlight here personally. Start with the big guy. This film was directed by Paul W.S. Important, the W.S. here. Paul W.S. Anderson, known for the likes of Mortal Kombat, the Resident Evil never-ending franchise, and Alien vs. Predator. Also the husband of Mila Jovovich.
Also known for Mila Jovovich's career resurrection.
What, he cast her like 10 years before he married her in the first Resident Evil?
That's the thing. That's
kept her employed ever since.
Yeah, he just kind of bought her hand in marriage with all these fucking movies he continually cast her in.
I actually like her as an actress. I've always cared for her work.
Fifth Element's like one of my favorite movies of all time.
God, she is so hot in that movie. I'm not even the one that normally says that kind of
Goodness
stuff.
gracious,
On the
and fucking nipples.
Yeah, that's what I think about. The length of
With
them.
them nipples?
Yeah.
This dude pisses me off like no other director we've ever covered on this show.
Interesting, man. You know what's funny is as I'm covering notes on it, I'm like, maybe we should just do a run of just his movies. Maybe we could resurrect this guy and make him as interesting as, go ahead and say his name out loud, Paul Thomas Anderson.
Apparently, like, they used to ask him about, like, working with Bill Murray and shit, and it pissed him off to such an extent that he put the WS in his fucking name. Or made it, like, you know, part of his credits.
I was going through his films, and they're all dog shit from beginning to end.
Fucking shit. Mortal Kombat was like
Mortal Kombat was a fucking stick. It's like a staple in our childhood.
Kids movie.
Alien vs. Predator is not as bad as people remember it being either.
Well, if somebody else directed it, I would
still
say it's
bad,
probably pretty
good.
We'll
go find out.
I actually don't overly hate the Resident Evil franchise. And then I looked at why that is the case. He did not direct the second one or the third one, which are my favorite ones. He did not touch those films.
Oh, you can differentiate in them? I couldn't even do that for you.
The second and third one have a much different tone than all the fucking techno and weird CGI shit.
I remember
going
the
on.
first one.
Remember the third one is like all desert landscape, a lot of practical
like
effects
Mad Max
happening.
Type thing.
Exactly.
I remember seeing promos.
I
don't know if I watched it though.
Which was Mike Epps is in it. Okay, that's a talking point.
That's a plus, I guess. He's in Friday After Next too, so that's.
But he's one of these directors, and if you go through his notes or his for each film that he's done, almost every time he has the Zack Snyder BS of, oh, the studio made me cut so much. If you were able to see the director's cut, it would be this. No, you're just a shitty director. Like. They can't be your excuse every single time.
Well, it has to have been correct probably at least once, right?
I think it can be an excuse every time, in my opinion.
He's a studio director, like through and through. Like this dude's career is the definition of studio work. He starts out with Mortal Kombat. I mean, damn, how much more IP can you get in 1995? What was hot in 95? Fucking Mortal Kombat on your Sega Genesis.
See, I was not the biggest Mortal Kombat fan. Maybe that's where I had the difference between you two.
I just feel like you have a vision. You put that vision to paper or you put it to film. You submit it. And at the end of the day, you don't really get the final say in it when you're a studio filmmaker. Like, you're literally having to bend to the will of the people that are funding this bullshit. And they want you to cut your movie in half. You kind of have to do it.
I mean, to be fair, if this dude really feels like he has visions, he wants to get on screen, he's made enough money in the studio system that he can nut up and put his own money on the line and make a movie the way he wants to at this point.
Yeah, but at this
can't use that
point,
excuse anymore.
One
Same
of
thing
his
with Zack Snyder. You can't.
It was so
make that
early in his
excuse
career,
anymore.
though. Like, I can see how it would discourage you from wanting to do that in the
Yeah,
future.
I agree for your first 5 movies at this level, but at that point, you could.
Well, after
You
that,
could
it's
drop
like
$10 million on your own movie at that point.
after this, he's just started making fucking video game adaptations.
Cashing checks, you mean? Yeah, that's what he fucking did.
Marrying a supermodel. Tough.
Making her
It's a
into
tough life.
an Academy Award-winning actress. I'm not sure if that's true. The only other fella I got behind the camera, not necessarily that it has to be a fella, but the only other person I have of note is the writer. This was written by Philip Eisner, who didn't have much of a filmography, but he did have one standout from 2009.
Yes.
A movie I will never watch, titled The Mutant Chronicles, starring Thomas Jane and John Malkovich. This dude did not even have a photograph on his Wikipedia.
Did you say John Malkovich was in that?
Yeah. Ask Hootie about it. I'm
what?
sure he's watched it.
Ron Perlman's in it, and
Okay.
Thomas Jane
If there's
is
the
in
word
it.
mutant anywhere in it, I'm gonna assume Ron Perlman's in the shit.
And Ron Perlman and TJ, as I call him,
No, first name basis.
are mutant hunters, and they're flying around space, and they're shooting CGI creatures, and it's god awful.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, you tell me this is enjoyable, but you're shitting on Event Horizon
It's
already.
not good. I bought the DVD of Mutant Chronicles when Blockbuster was going out of business,
That's a relic right there.
and I think I threw it in the trash at some point in my life.
Jesus.
I'm no longer on the thing.
Sentimentality, down to 0. But that's all I got for the crew. You guys got anybody else to shout out before we get into the production notes?
I had a couple notes on Philip Eisner. Because, I mean, you're right at Thomas Jane movie. I got to figure some things out about you. He only has written 4 scripts, which is interesting. And he got the idea for this film after a family tragedy. He had recently entered a multi-picture writing agreement with an effort to force himself to get back to work. He pitched the idea of The Shining in space to the studio, which they were very receptive to. And I ask you two fellas, did you think this film was The Shining in space?
I mean, in terms of like the psychological horror aspect, like hallucinations and. I mean, there's a direct homage later in the movie with the blood.
Oh yeah,
to the fucking Shining, like, but it kind of hits you over the head with it, you know. Like it's not like there's no alluding to it. It literally is.
But if you strip all that out thematically, I'm thinking, is this? Like, I understand the descent into madness, but I don't feel like it's a result of isolation like it is in The Shining.
I don't know. Like, how can you be any more isolated than being in fucking space?
I mean, I agree, but he's not like Jack Torrance's whole thing is he's stuck in these mountains and he's just losing his mind because he can't escape his own head. And I feel like Sam in this, or Sam now, Dr. Weir in this is pursuing the madness, if that makes sense. I guess it's the same vein, but two different ideas in my opinion. You can't compare it to The Shining, dude. Come on.
I don't know, like
what he said.
That's a top 5 horror film all time.
Like the crew is trapped as well. Like the ship won't let them leave.
Yeah, but they're not self-isolating like he is in that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just.
As Dr. Weir says, she won't let you.
Exactly. I think I'm just. I mean, I guess if you consider it like a haunted ship, then yeah, I'll give you the reference. And that looks cool on paper when you say The Shining in space. That sells to marketing executives, you know.
That's true.
I can sell that. All right, moving on. I got some production notes here to get us kicked off. Start with the beginning. Start with the inception here. After 1995's Mortal Kombat, director Paul W.S. Anderson was inundated with screenplay offers as well as the opportunity to direct Mortal Kombat Annihilation and the upcoming X-Men. I thought that was pretty fucking nuts. He turned both of those down in favor of making an R-rated horror film to shift away from making another PG-13 movie. He turned down X-Men.
Thank you, Lord above, for him not directing X-Men.
That's a lot of money on the line. What franchise do you think he would rather be tied to at this point?
He would have ruined X-Men.
He would have had Hugh Jackman on board, dude.
He apparently had the chance to direct Alien Resurrection as well.
He probably could have fixed that one.
Swing and a miss.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Speaking of Ron Perlman.
Oh, here's another big note. Talked around it already. The film had a troubled production. Filming and editing were rushed by Paramount because the movie Titanic was not going to meet its projected release. The original 130-minute cut of the film was heavily edited. This is Titanic's fault.
Did you guys read up on why it was such like a long runtime?
They cut 40 minutes out of the movie. That's a lot.
But it was like 40 minutes of like just fucking debauchery. Like gore, like violent sexual fucking encounters. Just all manner of, literally like they were trying to show us what it was really like to be in hell. And like apparently some of the stuff they filmed was so grotesque, like test audiences and like the producers couldn't stand to watch it, like couldn't bear to watch it.
Yeah, that's the test screenings. The cut was poorly received. There were complaints about extreme gore. Anderson and producer Jeremy Bolt claimed that some of the test audience fainted.
God, do you know how sick that would fucking be, man? I would want to. Imagine that shit coming out nowadays. Like people will be like climbing over the seats to go see this thing.
Hootie's like highly skeptical of these people fainting in crowds. He said the same thing about 100%.
It's all a marketing ploy. It's probably not even 40 minutes of quality film out there in the director's cut. You can just say whatever you want to.
Well, yeah, my final note here. I got the initial DVD release sold so well that Paramount contacted Anderson to begin restoration of deleted footage, but it was quote unquote lost and or destroyed. So we'll never know.
Of course not.
That makes it even better, Hootie.
But there was 40 minutes of Oscar-worthy material, Chris.
Just think about it. There's Event Horizon like fanboys and fangirls out there who were scouring every flea market, every VHS store, every fucking source they can to find this golden ticket.
The cut. A cut above, if you will. Last thing I have, of course, the box office. Budget was $60 million. Box office was $42 million. But like I said earlier, the home video sales on this one were pretty bonkers. So I think it ended up making a little bit of a profit in the end.
From what I read, the new technology that was the DVD.
You gotta say it like they used to do.
Catapulted this thing.
Oh, yeah. This is like this, and like Fight Club was really huge on DVD, which was 99. Like those little runs of like good movies that people didn't see because they were marketed so fucking terribly. Like the Fight Club marketing was awful. But once it's on DVD, it's a whole nother level. It's a cult, man.
I have an early memory of my Uncle Pete, like from the Goofy movie. I think that's where I saw my first DVD. He had bought a DVD, and I was like, that looks like, like a foreign something.
Can I touch it? Man, you gotta be careful with it.
So
Remember
cool.
that? You had to like stick your finger in the hole. Don't touch the bottom.
Don't let the sun see it.
You don't want to scratch that.
it.
You should think those things
drop
were so
that
precious.
shit. I pray to God you don't drop that shit.
Now you get like 10 for $1 at the Dollar General or whatever.
Can't fucking give them away. Can't give them away.
No, I can't give them away. I don't want that junk in my house.
I literally gave mine to Goodwill. So
Goodwill.
They took them.
You didn't even go to like a used bookstore. Now we're going to Goodwill.
I still got to fucking like stack up them over here. I just can't bring myself to give them away.
I told you, it's the sentimentality of for people our age. You got to do it all at once. That's the only way you can do it.
Like, I'll never watch
You
them.
can't
like,
do it
they'll just sit
piecemeal. You
over
just got to
there.
throw them all out at once. Right, Hootie?
I think that's what it comes down to.
I literally kept all my horror ones for this podcast. But I did take them to a used, I think the one by my house. I think they took 2 out of 50
They
DVDs.
said, ew.
And we're like, we don't want these.
Ew, he has DVDs.
So those
Damn,
went right to
dog, you
Goodwill.
like Thomas Jane.
You got Give Him Hell Malone. You got Mutant Chronicles. You got
He's got the
Deep
whole
Blue Sea.
damn filmography. I've never seen
What the hell you
Wikipedia
doing with Deep
printed
Blue
out.
Sea? What are you doing with Deep Blue Sea and Espanol? You ain't even speak Spanish.
He said this motherfucker printed out Thomas Jane's Wikipedia filmography and just taped it to the front of the DVD.
Nah, I bet y'all ain't never seen this. This is beginning to end. All TJ. Every damn thing he's ever done.
He's got Hung season 3 on VHS.
Yeah, why does this damn DVD case of Hung so wore out? Did you wear this when you was taking a shit? You just read this old box and you was taking a shit every time, huh?
I hope one day we get big enough to interview Thomas
Oh,
Jane.
that would be fantastic. I'd love to talk to that man.
Ain't gotta be too big.
Well, you guys got anything else on the production there?
I had a couple of things to pop in here with. First of all, I know we're going to talk about it. We'll get into the meat of the matter here. But to touch on it, the shot where Sam Neill stares out the window when in the space station that's orbiting Earth took 10 weeks to shoot. The shot lasts for 45 seconds, took nearly a third of the film's visual effects budget.
And the sad part is I cannot immediately recall this shot that you're talking about.
When he's upside down and the camera's drawing out.
And it's spinning in a circle.
Yeah.
I got like really disoriented for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it was
third of the film's budget.
All right, you got to think about it. It's like 97. I think the shot actually looks very good. Like, I think it wasn't part of it based on the fact they had to use like so many individual models for the ship, like different sizes of the model. Or maybe we're calling a different part of the movie. Like, I respect this movie a lot for its use of like physical props and models and stuff.
I feel like I'm in a boxing match with Joey during this episode.
Boom, 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 boom.
Hit
Like, for a movie that's based in space, I don't feel like it overdoes the use of CGI. Like, sure, it's got it like sprinkled throughout.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in fucking space.
It does. And
But the
usually
actual like
on
set pieces and everything that's,
Yeah.
actually constructed, like,
I get what you're saying.
impressed by.
Like the physical aesthetics are cool to look at. It's like everything being wet and alien, It's it has like a texture to the movie. And the CGI that is used here is like so.
I don't think it's bad. I think
No,
it
it's
actually
not
holds
bad.
up
It's like-
kind of well.
It's so wonky that it seems to fit into this world, if that makes sense. Like where this movie goes, I feel like the CGI, like the weird looking objects, kind of fit. They're like as a piece with with how this movie
Yeah,
was.
but with the aesthetic of the rest of the movie.
Yeah. Like a little
I can see
rough
that.
around the edges, maybe. Like David Lynch, rest in peace. When he had the budget to do like crazy special effects, he always refused to do it. He wanted his special effects to look shitty for a reason, to make you feel a certain way. That's cool, you know.
It's a cool way to do it.
He was an artist. He was a painter, so he was all about like making things look specific ways.
Another note I have here is among those in the audience in 1997 was Galaxy Quest's screenwriter Robert Gordon, who was amused enough by the notion of the meat grinder tunnel that in response he created Galaxy Quest's infamous corridor filled with chompers.
Is this a Tim Allen joint? Is this like the third time I've asked this question? Is this a Tim Allen joint we're talking about?
I think it's
Yes,
the third
Galaxy
time.
Quest
Yes.
you got Alan Rickman, you got
No,
fucking
it's a
Sam
Tim Allen joint,
Rockwell,
bro.
you got
Sigourney
fucking
Weaver.
all these heavy hitters.
It's just two
Yes.
things that do not equal to each other in my mind, you know?
It's like a Star Trek spoof film done very well.
Isn't that was it the Orville? That TV show? Wasn't that what that was?
The Seth MacFarlane joint.
Yeah. Wasn't that what that
Yeah.
was? Yikes.
It's not as good as Galaxy
Yikes.
Quest.
Close.
Alan Rickman is in Galaxy Quest, Chris.
Professor Snape, hell yeah, another rest in peace. Damn, dude, we're all getting old.
Dude, we watched the original Tuesday.
Sorcerer's
I
Stone.
forgot how magical that fucking movie was.
It is, man. It gets so dark when you get to that third window. Like literally, it's just so.
As I love it though. I love how it turns.
But yeah, the meat grinder tunnel. I mean, I guess there's a spoiler to talk about it here, but that looked really cool. Maybe I don't know if my cut
It looks
was
like that
different.
shit you see it like
The
like in a haunted
carnivals and
house or
shit.
like
Yeah.
a
I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
maybe
what I
I got
thought
a
as well.
shitty cut because I mean, I don't know the specific version I watched, but was it ever put to use in whatever version you watched?
No. I was entirely expecting somebody
I
to
was
get
so
chewed up by this
disappointed
fucking
by
thing.
that, dude.
The doors leading to the actual like gravity drive or had like fucking spikes on them. I was
Like
entirely
inside of a blender.
expecting somebody to get and they just didn't.
Okay, I'll make sure it wasn't me, and
Yeah.
I just had a shitty copy or something.
Do you know what Paul W.S. Anderson would say to that?
That was in the deleted footage, bitch.
They ran
in
out
the
of
deleted
budget.
footage.
Yeah, deleted footage ran out of
It was in
budget.
deleted footage. Make sure you buy tickets to the new Resident Evil movie coming out next week.
To that point, in Resident Evil, the first one, I don't know if you guys remember, but
The
there was
laser.
a hallway with the
Yeah,
lasers.
that's exactly what I remember about that movie.
Stu likes tunnels.
The dude like
hallways.
makes it through, and he freezes, and then like breaks down into cubes or whatever. Yeah,
It was effective to a
I
kid.
remember sneaking into a movie theater to watch that when I was a child.
I figure we should all put on our science caps and go into college for a minute.
Physics mode.
The event horizon was named after the theoretical boundary surrounding a black hole, within which gravitational attraction is so great that nothing, not even radiation, can escape because the escape velocity is greater than the speed of light. Technically, it is where the physical universe ends and physical laws no longer apply. So the ship's name is symbolic for its journey beyond the borders of the known universe.
Hell yeah, the point of no return.
I really think if this film had a better director, it would have been
It
fantastic.
would have been to shit. I think more of the Clive Barker Hellraiser style stuff that was part of the cutting room floor would have made it way more fun. What do you think, Julian?
Supposedly.
Oh, I'm right there with you.
Give me the gore.
I actually think like if we got the hour and 30 or the 2 hour and 10-minute runtime, we got to see all the stuff that was chopped and supposedly filmed. Man, that's the type of shit like I crave nowadays. I want something shocking. I want to be shocked. I don't want to fucking have to see the same shit I've seen 1,000 times.
He's got Art the Clown syndrome, Hootie. He's been peeled. He's been art peeled.
Man, you maybe should watch Substance.
Substance.
If I could
is
ever
pretty
fucking find
bad,
a shit to watch, I'm not paying
Wait
Amazon
a
for
second.
this
Me and
shit.
Hootie can pitch in. We'll get you a DVD copy of The Substance.
Yeah, that'll
We'll
work.
get you a steel book.
Just give
Oh,
me a DVD
shit.
player while you're at it too.
Damn, you got a PlayStation, right? They play DVDs.
Yeah, but I'm
on
not
there?
putting a DVD in there. The damn thing will spit it out.
You're like, ew, this guy's poor.
Like,
He never
What is this?
That tastes like shit.
Is this an 8-track?
You would no longer be on PlayStation Network.
I'll just throw a few names out there for other actors who are considered for certain roles, even though, in my opinion, like one of the major strengths of the movies
The
of this
casting,
movie
yeah.
is the actual actors that were cast. So I don't think they could have been any better. But Scott Glenn and Bill Pulliam were both
Damn it,
offered the
Bill.
role of Dr. Weir and turned down that role.
Damn, this is like a year before Independence Day.
Oh, I
Before he
know,
became
right?
the president.
I think Sam Neill was the best pick out of this.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tommy Lee Jones, and Bruce Willis were considered for the role of Captain Miller.
Oh, Arnold.
Yeah, Arnold may be too much personality. Larry's great in this.
Yeah, Larry's great. Sam's great. Like they couldn't have nailed those castings any better.
This is Jingle all the way Arnold, though, so he's kind of smaller.
Oh yeah, this is him he's cutting a little bit at this point.
He's got his pea coat on.
Being fancy. Stepdad. Was he stepdad in that movie? No, he was just a dad, right?
He was a real
He
dad.
was a real dad. I'm sure he's not that
He
kid's
loved
dad.
it. He loved his cookies.
Wasn't that Jake Lloyd? Wasn't that little Anakin Skywalker? Wasn't that his son?
I don't remember the kid at all. I remember
I don't
Sinbad
remember
and
the
Arnold
kid
Schwarzenegger.
whatsoever. Anytime you say kid actor, I think Jonathan Lipnicki. So I'm just picturing Jonathan Lipnicki
the
as
Jerry
his
Maguire
character.
kid. The little vampire. He was in that too.
Oh, there were two of them.
Two of them. Two.
Yeah, they were twins.
Are you talking about Big Daddy?
Yeah, that kid, right?
No.
No, that's not the same kid.
Jerry Maguire.
Oh,
The little kid.
Little
he had
Vampire
like a
and Big
list.
Daddy's not the same kid?
Nah.
Stuart Little.
Oh,
He had like a
Talk
little
about
kid.
Stuart Little all the
Okay.
time. The
Glasses.
little kid with the glasses, man.
The human head weighs 8 pounds, that kid.
Gotcha.
What the hell are we even talking about here? Let's get back to it, boys. Let's break. Let's go to, as Hootie alluded to, the point of no return, the theoretical boundary where our physical laws no longer apply. Let's breach that event horizon.
I thought it said Liberate me. Save me. But it's not me. It's Liberate tutte me. Save yourself. And it gets worse. There. I think that says X in Ferris. Save yourself from hell.
The year is 2047. After 7 years of silence, the Starship Event Horizon suddenly reappears in Neptune's orbit, broadcasting a disturbing distress signal filled with screams and what appears to be Latin phrases. The rescue vessel Lewis and Clark is dispatched, carrying a skilled crew led by Captain Miller. They're joined by Dr. William Weir, the Event Horizon's designer, who explains the ship's revolutionary gravity drive, a device capable of folding space-time itself. We kind of meet everybody at once, so yeah, this is pretty much going to be a cast dump here, boys. Feel free to interject at any point. Start with Dr. Weir, played by Mr. Sam Neill, who you may know from, well, of course, became internationally prominent as Dr. Alan Grant in Jurassic Park from 1993. Also known for Possession from 1981, The Hunt for Red October from 1990, The Piano from 93, and In the Mouth of Madness from 1994. John Carpenter joined there, I believe.
Don't forget Daybreakers.
Daybreakers. That was Daybreakers.
Yeah, you don't remember Daybreakers with Ethan, what the fuck's his name? Ethan Hunt? Is
Ethan Hawke. It was right around the purge.
Who the hell's Ethan Hunt?
Ethan Hunt is Mission Impossible main character.
Okay, Ethan Hawke. That's what I'm fucking thinking about. It's about like a vampires and shit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he's
it's
a
coming
vampire.
back to me now. How did I know it was a vampire thing? Wasn't it a shitty one?
It wasn't good.
I don't remember it being like overly bad.
I can't
Then
remember
again,
a
it's
single
like-
frame of that movie, but I do remember the movie. Isn't that weird?
It had a hellacious campaign as far as trailers and
It
advertisements.
was probably peak like TV when we were kids. Promoted out the ass. Was it an HBO thing? Maybe it was on HBO all the time or something.
I mean, we can all agree it's not
Probably.
as good as John Carpenter's Vampires.
Oh yeah, Johnny
Oh.
C stole the crown there. But yeah, Sam
Hell
Neill,
yeah, Padre.
I watched Possession for the first time about a year ago. Actually, is in debate of whether to bring it onto the show.
I
as a horror
watched
movie.
one scene from that movie.
That's just wild, dude.
That's about it. Yeah.
Oh, you probably, so if you watch the one scene, then you don't have to watch the hour and a half ahead of it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, more psychological than horror movie for me, so I didn't bring it to the show. But it is a good watch.
I had a note on Mr. Neil. He moved to New Zealand at age 7, owns a winery in New Zealand, and if any of you have a TikTok, he is all over TikTok showing you his sheep and his flowers, and just comes off like a great dude.
So are celebrities on TikTok? That's a thing too? Or is this just like
he was
certain people?
He was on TikTok with his sheep talking about how they're going to be natural resources and they don't harm the planet and their wool is so good for the environment. It's just like,
is he still trying to bang Cillian Murphy's girlfriend on Peaky Blinders? Did you ask him about that? Put that in the comments.
Well, that's not on his TikTok, and I can't ask him a question on TikTok. But if
put that shit in the comments. Second up, well, probably the top bill, honestly, but I decided to go with Mr. Neil first. We got Lawrence Fishburne as Captain Miller, who you may know from 1979's Apocalypse Now, Boys in the Hood from 1991, and then later, of course, the Matrix franchise, which started in 1999, and the John Wick film series. His first appearance, I think, was in the second one of those. And a little film called Dream Warriors.
Did you guys ever hear about like his daughter having that porno tape?
I think I've heard you talk about it exclusively. No one else.
I think
I talked about it. I don't know if
it?
I talked about it during Dream Warrior, but yeah, she's got.
It's called Cream Warriors. You said.
I think she is called Cream Warriors. No, it's not called fucking Cream Warriors.
Somebody's missed that.
I think she was trying to make a run. I think she was trying to make a run as like a adult film star.
Was she under like a fake name, or was she like?
No, I think she actually wore the Fishburne, like, she was Fishburning it up.
Oh, God. Ugh.
You may know my father, Larry Fishburne.
That's kind of a name that translates to porn really well, too. Fishburne. But yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen Apocalypse Now. I think that was his first role. It's kind of weird to see him that young.
Whoa, he had to be crazy young
1979. Fantastic movie.
So, to go on a little tangent here. I don't know how many times we're going to talk about Lawrence Fishburne, but Boys in the Hood. I didn't see Boys in the Hood until I was in high school.
Great movie.
Love the movie. But I can always remember where I was at when I saw the tragic death of Ricky.
Going to college.
Tragic. He's going to college, man.
He's making it out, man.
Remember Cuba Gooding Jr. fucking punching at the wind and shit, and Larry grabs him?
My dad had a treadmill in the basement, and I grew up in a household where I openly was called a fat ass most of my life.
Get on that damn treadmill. We're going to watch Boys in the Hood.
I was on a treadmill watching Boys in the Hood, watching Ricky get shot.
Did you run
crying his fucking eyes out, crying his eyes out on the treadmill. His tears hitting the fucking belt and just like flying off. The back wall is covered in tears.
So if there's ever a question of like, questions like, where were you when you first saw Ricky die, Boys in the Hood? That's where I was at.
When Ricky got gunned down on that DVD.
He had such a bright future as a USC receiver or some shit like that.
It's just something.
He's in the NFL. He's gonna be a Marine.
See, something like that. Like I can't even watch it now because of the Wayans brothers have like ruined me for shit like that. Because they parodied all that shit, dude. Because remember in Don't Be a Menace to South Central?
That's the baby's lunch.
Yeah, they have a whole scene like that where the dude's going to college.
This motherfucker's eating Tabasco off his bitch's feet.
That's gross.
Got the bunion.
All right, moving on here. Next up, I got Kathleen Quinlan, who stars as Peters, the medical technician. She was in 1995's Apollo 13, 1997's Zeus and Roxanne, that movie about the dog and the dolphin that are best friends. 1998's My Giant, and the 2006 The Hills Have Eyes.
Damn, dude, you left out Independence Day.
She had a bit part in a ton of movies.
It don't matter. It's still Independence Day. Anytime we get a chance to talk about that movie, we should do it.
I feel like Apollo 13 in your credits trumps Independence Day in your credits, probably.
What about 2013's Horns with Daniel Radcliffe?
I had the same thing for Joe.
I did like Horns when Daniel Radcliffe started to get a little weird.
I've never seen it.
Danny Rat. I think that was the...
worth a watch.
That was based on a story written by Stephen King's son.
It's got a cool twist. However, if you want to watch some really good Radcliffe shit, Swiss Army
Man's great, yeah. It's the first one I think of.
Okay. At this point, if I haven't seen a horror movie, because Horns is a horror film, right? It's Stephen King's movie.
I haven't got that far.
That's got a lot of comedic elements to it.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't openly seek out horror films anymore because try to save them for the show.
Try to save a little bit for us. I appreciate that.
That is.
He's saving the substance for us, Joy.
Yeah, but damn, when we gonna cover that shit? I kind of want to see it now.
Oh shit, you never know.
I've been wanting to see it, but damn it, I ain't paying for this shit.
When I step up to bat,
Whenever you can find it, Joey, you broke
somebody donate it to me, please.
Somebody Venmo me that.
Just Venmo me some money and I'll fucking buy it. How about that?
So we can fund Joey's movie watching experience.
One single purchase here.
Yeah, we'll leave my Cash App, my in the link in the description.
Next up, we're shouting out Lieutenant Stark, played by Jolie Richardson. She is notable for her roles in the FX drama series Nip Tuck, the Showtime series The Tudors. She was in 101 Dalmatians from 1996, The Patriot from 2000, and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo from 2011, the American My Boy David Fincher version.
Was she one of like the waspy family members?
I was trying to recall without looking it up, because I know that, damn, her name just left me. Robin Wright plays the married woman that Daniel Craig's banging on the side. I'm pretty sure she plays Harriet in that movie. No spoilers, I won't tell you who that is, but yeah. Pretty major character. She doesn't have a ton of screen time, though.
I had 2 notes on this lady. One, she was in the color Out of Space, the Nick Cage movie, which was fantastic.
Oh, yeah, that was that weird Nick Cage run he had there.
It is a horror movie, liked. And secondly, she's just a gorgeous lady.
Yeah, she's awesome in this. Awesome to root for of all the characters, I think, that we meet. Next up, we're not through here. I got 4 more people to touch on. We got Richard T. Jones, who played T.F. Cooper, a rescue technician for the Lewis and Clark, who was in The Wood from 1999. He also played Mike in Tyler Perry's dramatic films Why Did I Get Married and Why Did I Get Married Too?
Oh, yeah, why did you do it again?
And he plays Captain Russell Hampton in the Hollywood version of Godzilla from 2014. He has a super cool voice, man. About? He has a really cool voice. They get divorced and remarried? I don't know, dude.
We're back together.
If I watch a Tyler Perry movie, it'll be the first time I watch a Tyler Perry movie, so there's that.
He embodies this character very well.
I love his voice, mannerisms. He sounds like he should do. Like,
it's typecast and everything, but he does a great job.
He's funny. I figured it'd be Hootie's favorite character. Just on a whim, that was my guess.
I did enjoy him, or one of the next ones you're going to bring up.
Oh, next up I got Mr. Jack Noseworthy, who played Justin, the chief engineer, who the only thing I could find in was Barbed Wire of 1996, the Pamela Anderson movie.
Motherfucker's name should be Jack Earworthy, am I right?
He do got some ears.
Them big ass fucking
he
Dumbo,
looks like another
Dumbo
one
trunks.
Of those guys.
God damn him, big ass ears.
So when I popped this on, that guy, I kept seeing his face like, man, I know this guy from something.
Fucking Encino Man, probably.
He was in a movie I've seen, 20 times, and you two are going to laugh at me and so will the audience. Undercover Brother with Eddie Griffin.
Oh, Jesus
Christ.
I've seen that movie so many times.
I remember that VHS from the local video store for some reason. Is that where he had
I know him from...
He has a smiley face on his underwear. Was that the one? Or that's Ladies Man. I'm thinking Ladies Man.
That's Ladies Man. Undercover Brothers where it's him, it's Eddie Griffin, Dave Chappelle. He goes and tries to infiltrate like the man... They're always trying to fight the man.
Oh, this is like one of those Pootie Tang type movies too.
Yeah, it's like Pootie Tang, but
Pootie Tang.
Not.
Joy was a big.
You learn that white people love mayonnaise, and like Eddie Griffin has to learn how to eat mayonnaise to be white and infiltrate the man.
He really remembers every beat of this fucking movie.
It's a good for what it is.
How is Mr. Noseworthy in this movie?
I mean, considering he's like unconscious for over half of like his
Undercover Brother.
Oh,
he is the person who helps the I don't know what the how do you say this PG? He helps the brothers.
Who the hell's the brothers?
Blend in.
Oh, the black guys.
There you go.
Gotcha.
He teaches them like all the trivia that they need to know to infiltrate appropriately.
Gotcha. All right, next up, here's kind of a big hitter, kind of buried at the bottom of the list here. Speaking of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, we got Mr. Jason Isaacs as DJ, the medical doctor, who you may know as Colonel William Tavington in The Patriot from 2000. He was also in Black Hawk Down and, of course, played Lucius Malfoy in the Harry Potter franchise series. But most importantly for me, this is The Smartest Man in the World from 1998's Armageddon.
I had the
Come
same
along.
note.
I love that
Book says,
character.
"Come
dude.
along, Dobby.
I love that.
You're
fucking
no
character.
longer required for my services."
You going with Lucius
Is
quotes?
that his voice?
Yeah. He says,
No matter
you light a firecracker in your hand, you burn your hand. You wrap your fists around that same firecracker. Your wife's going to be opening the ketchup bottles for the rest of your life. I fucking love that guy, dude.
no matter what this dude does, he is the dude from Armageddon for me.
Yeah, that voice is just, I don't know. It's just one of those speeches, because I've seen that movie so many times when it came out, that whenever he speaks, that's the only voice I'm ever going to hear. He looks totally different as Lucius, though, compared to how he is in this movie.
Yeah, it's almost hard to accept his character in this film because you know what he does in other films.
Yeah. It was hard to see him like play a really good guy.
What's your job, DJ? Trauma.
He's so serious, man. I like the character a lot. Finally, we have Sean Pertwee as Smitty Smith, the pilot of the vessel. Only thing I could find of his of note was a movie from 2002 I've heard both of you talk about before called Dog Soldiers.
Dog soldiers.
Was he pretty prominent in
This is
that?
my favorite character.
Yeah, he had like, it seems like he had like pretty good comedic timing. I don't know how he is in Dog Soldiers.
Yeah, he's part of the elite task force who has to dispose of the dog soldiers. They're fucking werewolves. They're not dogs.
Spoiler alert.
And they're on just like a training mission. They're not on any kind of...
So you like the Jason Statham?
I want to ruin the movie.
Jason Statham type character here, the hard ass.
And I had a note for Joey. He was also a voice on Killzone 2.
Yeah, this dude did some
Killzone. God, I ain't heard that in a
did
minute.
some video game work.
That's
man.
such a good
God,
game.
That game was so fucking fun, man.
Ah.
Rushing around snapping motherfuckers' necks.
Snapping fucking necks.
Oh yeah,
Snapping
Melee
necks.
was a big deal in those games.
No, it was a huge deal because everything was like, it was unique. You would mutilate motherfuckers.
Can you still see like the
No.
multiplayer maps in your mind if you close your eyes?
I could still like hear the sounds of the bones cracking and
No,
feel
you know,
the,
like in your mind you can
feel the
navigate
rush, the
some of, like Call of
adrenaline
Duty
rush.
maps. Isn't that crazy? Like I could close my eyes.
I can navigate.
and walk through some maps. That's insane, dude.
There's a map in Killzone 3 that's in my mind right now that I could like walk around.
That's nuts, right? But anyway, back to the movie. So there was your entire cast list, basically. As far as where we're at in the movie, what'd you think about the Interstellar paper demo? I was kind of disappointed in Interstellar when I saw this in this movie. I was like, oh, they did this shit like 20 years before.
Well, I feel like it was a direct like
It was a ripoff of a movie that came
homage,
later.
I guess, or ripoff.
I was like, well, damn it, Nolan. I thought it was so cool when I saw him do it for the first time.
Well, I feel like the way they explain it in the movie, if the concept is like,
I mean, it is what it is.
if it's a genuine theory that astrophysicists or whatever have, then the way it's explained in the movie is almost as layman as it can be, right?
Yeah, it's just such a good visual demonstration that it felt like, I don't know, like I said, when I saw it in Interstellar, I was like, that's such a clever way to do it.
Yeah.
Little did I know. Fucking Paul Anderson took care of it first.
All WS, get it right.
Paul W.S.
This motherfucker didn't direct nothing about no Isle of Dogs.
Yes. That's Wes
I actually like
Anderson.
the Isle of Dogs.
I like the Isle of Dogs. That was pretty good too. And that was Wes Anderson, by the way. Paul Thomas Anderson, director of The Master, Boogie Nights, Magnolia.
Just blend it all together.
There Will Be Blood. Totally different guy. Moving on.
What you boys think of the techno music to begin with?
Dude, this shit was cool as fuck, bro. Like when we watched the trailer, I was like, this feels like a music video, dude. It's got so much of that Matrix, like cyberpunk vibe to it. I really like that aesthetic.
That sound was everywhere in the late 90s.
Yeah, I feel like especially once you get to the Matrix, it becomes like its own subgenre. But then I was watching this, I was like, this is like the Matrix and Alien kind of meeting as far as like visual styles.
Man, y'all were just loving this movie.
I was halfway expecting smack my bitch up.
Smack
like
my
pop
bitch
up like
up.
throughout this entire movie.
Yeah, definitely got those vibes.
Should we go over where we are in 2015, Chris?
Yes, yeah, you got the timeline. Go ahead and spout it out.
10 years ago, people, we colonized the moon.
We did it. I remember that.
You know what? Like the biggest thing of 2015 was in actual existence.
The Carolina Panthers Super Bowl?
Okay.
Well, no,
Cam
that
Newton.
fucking dress. That fucking dress that
Oh.
people didn't know if it was blue or
The
black
two-color thing?
or white or gold.
Ugh.
Yeah. You think about that was the height of existence in 2015, and in this timeline, we're colonizing the fucking moon.
Yeah, they were ambitious in '97 about what we were gonna do, man. I feel like we're disappointed.
All I can think about is Cam Newton not jumping on that fumble in the Super Bowl.
Not jumping on that ring. That's what was laying there was the ring.
Dude said skirt and just fucking jumped away from that bitch.
It's that Drake meme.
2032, mining begins on Mars. 2040, deep space research vessel named Event Horizon launches to search the boundaries of the solar system.
Are we going to get there? And how long do we got? 15 more years? What do you think, boys?
I don't think it's going to happen. Spoiler alert, we never see a fucking planet in this movie.
I don't think we'll ever go back to the fucking moon. Some people think we ain't never been to the moon.
About to say, some people say we didn't touch the damn thing.
All right, now we're getting.
Speaking of Stanley
conspiracy.
Kubrick.
That's made in a Hollywood basement.
I love that song. Here's a good quote from this first little batch when we meet all of our characters from Cooper. You want something hot and black inside you? I thought that was pretty good.
That's such a
good reference in his coffee, of course. I don't know what else I could have been talking about there. We also see, I don't know if I kind of skipped over it here, but we got kind of during the character introductions, we get to see the shrine that the doctor has to his wife, Claire.
Boy, let me ask you something.
And we get a little bit of a side nip dream here, too, as well.
How many times do you think Sam busted those pics of his wife in the bunk?
Dude got a shrine, bro. I'm sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was fingernails, toenails, hair, all kinds of stuff in there.
It was kind of unsettling how many pictures were in there.
Yeah, it was a bit much.
When you think about it, you got this like beautiful, gorgeous wife.
Gorgeous.
You're out here in the deep recesses of space. You're there for months, years on end. I mean, you're gonna have a few pictures here and there.
And now you just have TikTok.
Yeah, you just had.
How about that?
We have our spank bank is on our phone now, so
that's progress.
But not in this future. In this future, they didn't have TikTok.
Polaroid is a hot
still
commodity.
Beating off the Polaroids. So with this, I mean, we kind of got the setup of what the movie's going to be here, and we see like the idea, of course, at the end of the movie is like the descent into madness. So looking back on that now, do you think Weir is already in that mind space? He's a little mad when the movie starts.
Well, he's
having weird sex.
We don't know it at this point, but he's like the person who designs the actual gravity drive, like the force, which eventually is, I guess, the antagonist of the movie, almost.
Right? Yeah, the whole.
He designs it. He spends the most time with it. So I think he's already like been co-opted.
Take it a little nuttier than squirrel turds already.
Oh yeah.
You have to think if he created it, he knows what it can do.
Yeah, but it's all like theoretical. That's like they have this whole, it's always annoying. They do this in movies where they'll say, "Tell us that in English. Do you speak English?" I'm like, "Come on, y'all, quit acting like you're fucking idiots here." He's trying to explain how it works. I'm like, okay, all these people should have like cell phones. They could look up like the 3 or 4 words they don't understand.
There's an Easter egg in this film to go back to the 2015 comment that we were talking about. When Dr. Weir is walking around in the dream sequence before he wakes up from cryo sleep, he's walking around the ship.
Yeah.
He's the only one awake. He looks at somebody's bunk. I don't know who it was, but there is random posters pasted on the wall. One of them is of the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, geez, was it?
Yeah, you can go back and look at it.
Oh, shit. Was it the one we saw like the pinup, like Miss February or some shit?
I think so. And to the left of that, I wasn't looking at Miss February.
Oh, okay.
To the left of that was the Carolina Panthers.
I thought it was weird though.
All he could see was fucking Rodney Pete's dick.
Was it Rodney
Pete?
It was a Rodney Pete nude. Yeah, like
it was Steve Berline.
Like he looks at this,
Biakabatuka.
He's looking at this like centerfold or whatever, and I'm like, this woman is clearly like, that might have been what was hot back in like '96, but this is not what. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, beauty standards have changed in the last 30 years. No offense to this lady.
Oh, yeah.
But she had, like, the bangs and shit. I'm like, that would not fly in, like, a modern Playboy.
You don't like bangs?
Not in a modern Playboy magazine, bro. But, yeah, he had this weird dream, and the wife had, like, side nip and the dreamy eyes. I thought that was pretty unsettling setup there. And I like Larry's floating chair once we get on the ship, too. I think it was fucking dope, bro.
Do you like the floating chair?
It was, like, very impractical. Like, obviously, it moves.
It was so
I love the scene where the motherfucker was in it and
slowly
did what could only be described as a 350-degree turn to get out of the fucking chair, and not totally 360, because that wouldn't make any sense. But a 350-degree fucking turn to get out of the
He
chair.
could have went 10 degrees to the right, you're telling me, and save some space?
The shots of Lawrence Fishburne in the seat just whipping back and forth. It looks like a fucking rag doll.
Yeah.
Locked into the seat.
I mean, I get it's wonky and it's like it's chunky looking, but the idea of like a sphere that can move freely in gravity, if it worked like it should have in my mind, it would have been cool, I guess.
Well, here's the thing. I think it looked really fucking cool.
That's when it looked cool. The function
It
was
looked
garbage.
cool.
The function was terrible.
Doesn't make any sense.
Like if you're the captain, you want to be able to like turn to every station like in a moment's notice, you know. Like this thing was super fucking slow, but the idea of it was cool.
Research and one of the reviews on this movie was that it looked like they built that seat before they cast Lawrence Fishburne.
Who the hell they think was going to be in it? This is the Stephen Hawking seat.
He's just so big that I think the seat is a normal seat for like Michael J. Fox.
Oh, was he like crouched in it or something?
But they got this massive man to sit in this little
Damn it, Larry.
seat.
These wide shoulders, I can't help it, mama. When the crew boards the Event Horizon, they find evidence of a massacre, but no bodies. Their investigation is violently interrupted when the ship's gravity drive mysteriously activates, creating a portal that nearly claims crew member Justin and damages their own ship. With the Lewis and Clark compromised, the crew is forced to remain aboard the Event Horizon while repairs are attempted.
So at this point, we've seen the gravity drop and how it looked.
Yeah, this is all like the introduction to the.
You can
the boarding
see the
first scene.
inspiration that was taken from the Lament configuration.
Oh yeah, this is Hellraiser out
from
the
Hellraiser.
ass. I really like the look of this room with all the
We finally made it.
all the spiky shit in there.
We had Jason in space, we had Leprechaun in space, and we now have Hellraiser in space.
Pinhead in space, baby. Let's fucking go. What do you think about the design of the Event Horizon? Doesn't the ship kind of look like a dildo? Think about it. It's got like this really big head.
It kind of looks like it looks like a cock and balls. Yeah,
It's got the really big head and the long
I think it looks
hallway.
more like a crucifix, like a cross. But I can see how you'd say it's like a cock and balls sort of
Cock
situation
and
going on
balls.
here.
Well, you two just got him mighty. Paul W.S. Anderson's talked about the shape of this ship because he said he got inspiration from Notre Dame.
Oh, so it is some kind of a cross, some religious
It
symbol?
is some kind of like homage to Notre Dame.
I thought it was a dildo. But again,
Y'all making penis
again,
jokes.
as Reagan McNeil taught us, if you're brave enough, anything is a dildo.
Anything.
Ask Reagan in The Exorcist. But the meat grinder hall, how fucking cool is that as a setup? And then it got paid off, but not in the version that we saw, right, Hootie?
Yep, of course.
There was a really cool blender scene in that in the original version, I bet.
Just a body going around.
That's the thing.
And around
If
and around
a
and
character in
around.
the movie goes out of their way to make it a point and describe it as a meat grinder, you figure it would come back around to like be used as a meat grinder.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the logic is if we see every character that dies in this movie's death on screen, right? So who could he have put in
To some
there
extent, yeah.
that we didn't see? If that would happen to somebody, we would have been off camera, right?
Well, it would be like the previous crew.
I'm just saying as an argument against his, oh yeah, I totally used it in another cut. All these characters, we saw their deaths, and you didn't use it.
Now we're thinking.
Now we're getting ahead of his ass.
Don't be gaslighted.
Fucking meat grinder.
Or it could be like subterfuge, you know, getting you to look this way while something's happening over here.
Would either one of you just stick your damn hand into that thing?
Hell no.
Well, I feel like it was kind of calling to him. It was like alluring them. Like we see throughout the rest of the movie that this thing has some sort of influence over people.
Oh yeah, it's the descent into madness. It calls to you. It's like the call of Cthulhu or something, you know. Come to me.
Come to daddy. Fuck, I love fucking Hellraiser, dude.
Yeah, Hellraiser's iconic. But yeah, I love the design of this room. I like they like popped off the panel and they were going through like the Matrix looking hallway thing. That shit looked cool too. It definitely reminded me of Resident Evil. All the green lit and like motherboards.
I love
and
the
shit.
contrast, like between like the dark gloominess of the actual ship, and then you saw the internals, and it's like a bright, luminescent green.
Yeah,
it looked great.
It was cool.
I thought of Cube in that
Cube.
sequence.
These fucking shape movies, man. I feel like we run into these all the time. Never know what the hell to say about them. But yeah, once old dude goes into that portal, where was your mind at? Like, what did you think was going next? I thought everybody was going to get sucked in. We were going to see where it goes, you know?
I thought Justin was going to come back and be like a mutant.
Like a mirror. I thought it was going to be like a mirror copy of himself, like an evil version.
Like a pinhead.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking badass. You come back as a Cenobite.
Let's say what?
Yes, bigger
what is it? Pandemonium? No, what is the one with Ben Foster?
Pandemonium.
Pandemonium.
Pandemonium. We're talking about
like a space movie that's kind of like this.
Oh, Pandorium.
Where they go crazy and shit, and they just start like hacking up people.
What the hell is Equilibrium?
Equilibrium is
Ben Foster.
No. Equilibrium is the motherfucker from American Psycho.
Christian Bale.
Yeah, he's like some sort of like time cop or something. I don't fucking know, man.
I was thinking of Pandora.
There's so many of these damn worded titles.
But Dennis Quaid and Ben Foster. They're like the stars.
Worded titles.
Pandorium or Pandemonium. What the fuck it's called? It's another space like horror movie.
He's getting frustrated.
Please don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this CGI here is kind of a standout for, I think Hootie was probably shitting on it, Joy was complimenting it. The floating liquid and all that stuff. It's obviously 1997 CGI.
By per inch.
Yeah. But it moves in a kind of a unique way, I think.
It moves in a way that you think this should have been in 3D.
Yeah. Like a Terminator 2 CGI is kind of how I feel, you know? Like, you know, that T2, the liquid transformation CGI. It doesn't look great, but it looks, I don't know, it looks like it would work.
I
It was 91.
I think that shit looks pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but this is kind of the same.
Like the liquid metal look
it looks
of the
cartoonish
T1000.
Almost, but it doesn't take you out of that movie. Because we're in a science fiction movie, it kind of just, I don't know, it fits the mold for me. But once all the gravity kicks in and everything kind of splashes to the ground, I thought that was a pretty cool effect, the way all that worked. Everything gets wet real quick.
And Miller, Lawrence Fishburne, says that they only have 7 hours to repair the Lewis and Clark before they run out of oxygen.
Yeah, it's like a whole, like they put the ticking clock in there to make you understand that this is increased the tension.
That seems terrifying, and they all seem pretty calm about it.
Yeah, no one really freaks out. I guess because if they're a rescue vessel, right, that's their job. I'm assuming they're well trained for these kinds of situations.
Just another Tuesday. It's almost out of oxygen.
If I'm Dr. Weir, I'd be freaking out, but he's nutso anyway. He's finally come home. Dude's wants to stick his dick inside the gravity drive, I think.
That's in the latest sense for sure.
It probably is. According to Joy, there's a lot of sex in there, so. The crew begins experiencing intense personal hallucinations drawn from their deepest regrets and fears. Captain Miller sees a subordinate he once abandoned. Peter sees her disfigured son. Dr. Weir is haunted by his dead wife appearing without eyes. The situation worsens when they discover the Event Horizon's final log recording, a nightmare scene of the original crew engaging in self-mutilation and violence, ending with the captain holding his own gouged out eyes and delivering a chilling message. Liberate tutamate ex inferes. Save yourself from hell.
Went back and rewatched this in like slow motion, frame by frame. Man, that shit looks so fucking cool. Like they had so much like gross and just up my alley, man. Oh my god.
I love how they watched it. They say, "Oh, we found another log." They watch it, and Miller goes, "We're leaving."
No, yeah, we're done. And Sam's like, "Can we watch that back one more time?" And then Joy said, "I got to rewatch that in slow motion."
Sam's over here pitching a fucking tent.
Dude, the cannibal orgy. This shit.
I love like
wild.
how the characters react to the situation too. Like they all generally act like there's no curiosity at this point. It's we need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about this mission.
There's nothing here worth saving at this point, yeah.
I just appreciate it because that's a normal response.
Yeah. I mean, cannibal orgy is like not two words I've ever thought of putting together, but that's like exactly what the fuck's going on here. I saw somebody like humping somebody while someone else was eating flesh. It was some weird shit going on, dude.
And those bodies are just gone. Then we never, I guess we see one of them, but they're all gone.
Nasty shit. But Yeah, what'd you think about the scene where Peter sees her disfigured son? Apparently that was like one of the nastier scenes they had to cut up because it was like a lot of focus on the like maggots eating the kid's legs and stuff. The producers didn't want to see the kid getting hurt.
I don't. How to say this? I hate being the guy on the show that has to talk about these things.
How much you like to see children getting hurt?
No, that's not what I'm trying to say. It just doesn't resonate with me that why is this so effective to her to the point where we'll see later in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
It drives her to her death. And I'm like, is that really believable?
You know, they have exposition earlier in the movie, like with her
shitty husband
watching a video of her son's birthday, and then Captain Miller talking about, hey, I tried to get you reassigned and not, drug out here. And she's going through some bullshit with her ex-husband over like custody of the kid. So
which is
they
very
paint
sad.
it up. They do a good job, in my opinion, of showing her as a mother who misses her son. And I mean, the effect that the actual that the gravity drive has on people, it's shown to be pretty powerful. So
I feel like of all the people's reactions, they're like going through these hallucinations. Fishburne is like the coolest one because he's like, clearly this is what this fucking thing's doing. Like he doesn't buy it for a second. He's like, he knows.
Yeah, doesn't buy it for a second.
He's like, oh yeah,
and I think
the ship's doing this.
Some of
the
a lot of the shit that was cut too was like character development stuff too. So it's very possible they painted an even better picture of that character's background.
Hashing out the traumas.
Oh, her playing dodgeball with her kid would have been very effective.
Because he can't run, Hootie, is that what you're saying? Wow.
That is not what.
Wow.
She's just pegging her own kid.
I don't think the kid was a fucking paraplegic. I think
headshot.
the kid's legs were just hurting this scene.
No, he's in a wheelchair when she sees the video of him at his party.
Is he?
Yes.
Well, he's running around later on in the movie.
In the movie? Because it's not real, bro. It's the hallucination, right?
Well, then what the fuck? The bitch know he can't run.
That's why.
Damn, that should have been
that's why she
that
saw
should have been the dead giveaway.
Wait. That's why she saw that his legs were getting like eaten by maggots and stuff.
Oh yeah, I get that, but I'm just saying later on in the movie, this dude's like sprinting throughout the goddamn whole thing. It's not like he's willied up, fucking wheeling around the goddamn place.
I think it's like her fantasy of what him as a boy, like running freely and happily. That's what attracts her to it.
That should have been a dead giveaway to her ass.
Jesus,
now I'm upset.
Man, you should feel
super
upset.
frustrating.
You should feel upset after that one. But yeah, I feel like the log scene is like the defining piece here before the big finale, dude. That shit was intense. I was not expecting that to just pop up for 30 seconds in the middle of the movie.
I'd like to see 40 more minutes of it, honestly.
Joyce, just give me that movie. Fuck the people coming to save them. Give me the original crew. I want to follow them through their shenanigans.
So weird to believe that this company built this ship. It went dark, and they are now trying to recover the vessel for that technology. That's what the whole thing's about.
That's got to be right. There's no reason to put those many more lives at stake to recover people that are probably dead. You're there to recover the resources, right? The drive.
Okay.
It's got to be it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, the capability of the ship is literally like
nothing else has been made since then, right?
Life-changing capability,
Yeah, you're the king of the universe at that point.
Being able to almost teleport from one location 1,000 years away.
One dimension away, if you will. Man, you can go anywhere.
One dimension makes you a sex-crazed cannibal, apparently.
Damn right, man. Dr. Weir reveals the horrifying truth. The Event Horizon's gravity drive opened a gateway to what appears to be hell itself, and the ship has become something sentient and malevolent. As Captain Miller orders an evacuation, everything descends into chaos. Peters is killed by a vision of her son. Weir gouges out his own eyes and becomes possessed, destroying the Lewis and Clark in an explosion that kills Smith and sends Cooper off into space. DJ is then brutally vivisected by Weir, who then initiates the gravity drive's countdown. People start flying off the board right here, man.
Real quick.
Bang, bang, bang. 40 more minutes, we could have stretched these out, Hoodie.
DJ's skin suit suspended above like his organs.
That was the shit, bro.
In the medical bay.
That was some Hannibal shit right there.
Awesome was that.
He got straight up pinheaded, bro. It looked like something straight out of a Cenobite.
It was awesome, but it's exactly what I thought of. You're just ripping off Hellraiser.
Well, you didn't say that when Interstellar ripped this movie off, did you?
Well, I didn't. I don't know how those two really connect that much besides the paper scene.
But yeah, we're like a full-on horror movie at this point. Because I know we kind of debated, like, is this more sci-fi action? But this is, like, this kind of solidifies it in the horror canon more so than an action subgenre. So that's your favorite kill?
Yeah, but
he does cut away from it, though.
It cuts a fucking way from it, man.
Right as he gets the scalpel out.
The aftermath of the actual kill looks so awesome, but we're not treated to the actual. I mean, I get it. It's 97. They had to cut back due to budget constraints, and you did everything you could not to get an NC-17 rating, to stick with an R rating. So I guess you have to cut out some of that more gory. I'm sure they filmed it,
What do you think about Weir going like full psycho here, gouging out his own eyes? Where we're going, we're not going to need eyes. Hits him with it.
Caressing his dead wife's naked body.
Yeah, it's sexy time.
Seeing Sam Neill, of all people, take this turn and become this character.
I know, it's so weird to think of how wholesome he is in Jurassic Park. Like, literally saving children for 30 years in my mind.
Well, I don't know. He opens up Jurassic Park by threatening to disembowel a kid.
Yeah, but he's like being clever. He's being like a velociraptor. What about the Smith kill? I think his is like the tackiest. He just gets blown up.
His is the tackiest because if you go back and look at that bomb, the disable button is on the bomb and you see it. It's right there.
Yeah,
and
but this
like,
guy's Irish.
God.
He can't read.
Yeah, the setup for his death was kind of weird. Kind of clunky.
I liked his character, too, because his character the entire time was like, let's just get the fuck away. Before any of this stuff happened with the law.
He was definitely like disengaged pilot. Like, it is my job to drive the vessel. It is time to leave. I'm going to drive the vessel. Like, there's nothing else to talk about here.
I think even during the infamous paper scene at this point, he was like, why are we doing this again?
All right. So, with all the pieces flying off the board, a desperate final confrontation begins, where Weir is blown into space, but returns even more mutilated and powerful. Miller sacrifices himself to detonate explosives that split the ship, while Cooper and Stark make it to safety in stasis pods. When they're rescued 72 days later, Stark has a terrifying vision of Weir among the rescue team, though it appears to be just a nightmare. Or is it? I like the final boss Weir look. It looked like straight out of a damn video game.
Oh, I loved it. Like, the whole tortured, like face,
naked,
just carved up.
Yeah, dude.
Like, the special effects makeup here look fantastic.
It's like a Resident Evil final boss, if you will.
I hate to make the connection. It looked like Ryan Reynolds in X-Men
Deadpool.
Origins. Yeah.
The original.
That's all I thought.
Gracious. This third act, the climax just fell flat for me, too.
It's rushed. I think the issue for me is in the whole when they're like fighting Weir, it becomes something, I don't know, more akin to like the Resident Evil franchise, for lack of a better term, more actiony than it needs to be.
There's just so many like quick cutaways, man. It's hard to focus on what the fuck is happening. I get it. It's a chaotic scene. Like, he literally is going around shooting that rivet gun and blows out the fucking window.
Yeah, once the hole blows, all the drama is gone. It's just survival at that point. I'm just like, Like, I want to see him. Like, he's scary to me at this point. Like, wherever he's going through, wherever his mind is, and how he looks is scary. So, just have them hunt him like a xenomorph. Don't just make it a.
Did this movie help
thing.
establish that trope of like interstellar travel, like having the window blown out and people being sucked out?
That's Alien, right? Alien.
Like, I'm sure it's been around, but it's like, God damn.
That's how she always defeats the alien every time.
Yeah, it just felt like it was just going to happen.
Sucked out.
It's always the airlock, dog. I know that now from watching movies that everybody killed by in space. You just throw about the fucking airlock.
I'm just going to choose not to go to space.
Yeah, there's that too.
No, if I had the opportunity to, I think that'd be so sick.
You talking about like the Shatner? You just go breach the Earth's atmosphere and come back? Or are you talking about going?
No, like being out there for like a months-long mission. You know how cool that would be? Like, to go to like some or other like planet or something, and
what about those dudes
like
who got like stuck at the space station? Remember that? They're like, you have to wait up there for 6 more months.
I think they're still there.
What if they're listening to the pod right now?
You think about that. Somebody's literally up there right now taking a shit.
Yep.
Man.
He's floating around him.
A gravity duke. Gravity duke's right there.
Gravity duke. As it's floating, you pack it into a ball and just throw it at your buddy.
Throw it.
Wake up, Steve.
Oh, you know. You're bored. You two know that William Shatner went to space and then came back and said, there's nothing there.
Yeah, it's fucking
That was his
space. What do you
review.
think is going to be up there?
He was like,
That was
like an alien's going to wave at you or something out the window?
Huh, that was a waste of my fucking billions of dollars.
That'd be cool
Kirk
as shit
went
to
to
be up
space,
there.
man.
Be able to
Wow.
see the planet like that, and I think it'd be dope.
Just to be in zero G, real zero G. I think the firework here is something to be commended to, because during his sacrifice scene for Miller, he sees like the burning man, who is I guess the symbolism of some guy he left behind back in the day in one of his earlier missions.
He ain't never told nobody that story.
Exactly, but it looked good. Like I think it's very rare. It seems that, especially these days, we get like stunt man on fire. But this is a pretty good version of that, I think.
I think so. I think it served an important purpose too, because we learn that Miller has this undying loyalty to his crew, and it stems from having to leave this one guy behind during an incident and having to make that tough, decision. So now he's of the mindset that he's never going to lose a man again, which is what leads him to sacrifice himself.
Miller's tough, man. I felt like, just knowing that it's Lawrence Fishburne, that he would like break character at some point. Like he would quit being like so stern, but he definitely felt like a captain throughout the whole movie. He never ever felt like one of the boys, like I figured he would be at some point.
I like the way that he played the character, for sure. For the most part, everybody's pretty believable. Even we are.
Yeah, I think it's the accent work there is what makes him seem like he's some weird foreign doctor. Yeah, boys, that there wraps her up. You got anything else you want to touch on before we get into the closing remarks here?
Lawrence Fishburne flailing around on that rope during the scene where he's trying to escape from the window being blown out is some of the funniest shit and wackiest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, it looks like one of those things they filmed with the camera sideways or something, because he's moving so unnaturally. Well, that's not how gravity works.
They look bad. But funny, but bad.
When the rescue team comes at the end, Justin is in his pod.
Oh, is he? I didn't catch that. Yeah, I guess.
There's a body in there. I'm assuming it's Justin.
So they pulled him back in from being in outer space. Like he was exposed to like Neptune's elements.
He was exposed to decompression. Like his fucking eyes exploded. His lungs were exploded.
Yeah, but he actually went out into space for a moment too, remember? There's no way.
Yeah, and Lawrence Fishburne did like a damn space dive and saved his ass.
He said, all right, I got you.
It's almost like if my eyes exploded, man, just let me go.
Yeah, baby bear should have just been put out to pasture at this point.
Yeah, but Armageddon said that he was stable after that.
There's no fucking way he was stable.
Yeah, no,
there's no brain activity.
He's not. It's not pretty, but he's alive.
There's no brain activity there. There's
like,
no
what sort of quality
way.
of life is there going to be for this guy?
He's going to have to ask his wife up in the ketchup, but he's going to be all right.
We got to watch the sequel, man. That's going to get made eventually. Once we get these 40 minutes of footage back together, we're going to put it all together.
Oh, the Event Horizon's still out there. They didn't blow up. No, they did blow up. That's right. Yeah, it became a singularity. Or it became a black hole.
That was Miller's sacrifice. You tell me it was for naught?
Yeah.
Apparently, Weir's living on in the minds of those he terrified, so there's your shining reference for you right there, Hootie. He never really dies.
He comes back around.
Damn right. All right, with all that being said, what piece of memorabilia you boys taking home from the Event Horizon?
Yo, that rivet gun that Cooper uses to patch up the Lewis and Clark, and the one that Weir uses eventually to like destroy his own fucking ship or his own plan. Dude, that thing was so fucking sick. It looks like something from Dusk Till Dawn. It looks so sick.
Remind me of like the Juggernaut from Call of Duty.
I am going to pick anybody's flight suit. I put down Miller's, but they're all the same damn flight suit. It's just like, it was actually a well-designed flight suit, except for there was just tassels everywhere.
Tassels, man. The hell did they need tassels for?
There was two zippers on their chest with big-ass tassels. There was a zipper in the middle with a tassel, and there was tassels on the arms, I believe.
Yeah,
of like all the zippers had a tassel.
Maybe it's a space thing. It's like if you're in 0G, it's easier to grab a tassel if it's floating than it is to grab a zipper because you got to pinch with your gloves.
Look at him, just getting too damn deep about it.
I mean, it didn't have to be like a braided, goofy-ass tassel. It could have been like a string, but whatever. I'm going to get the gravity drive, dog. That thing is obviously capable of taking me places I ain't never been before. So let me get a finger in there with old Justin and see what happens. What if just your pinky goes to hell and then comes back? I wonder what that would make your life like. Let's wrap this up, get them grade books out, starting with Mr. Joey. What did you think about Event
1997's Event Horizon holds up well for a 30-year-old movie with CGI from the 90s. Sci-fi horror occupies a special place in my heart, and Event, while not on the level of Alien, The Thing, or The Fly, is now part of that pantheon for me. I love the physical set design and the use of real props. The attention to detail of the ship's interior and the atmosphere that comes with it was honestly just great. Sam Neill, Larry Fish, and Jason Isaacs all nail their characters' roles / performances. Especially Neill in an against type casting as the diabolical villain. The motives and reactions of the characters themselves feel appropriate for the situation they're in, something lost on many horror films before and since. The climax, sadly, it didn't do it for me, as it felt fairly weak and didn't pay off in the way I hoped it would, considering its stellar build-up, thanks to a pair of solid preceding acts. Ultimately, though, I can't help but pine for the 130-minute original cut. The extended versions or visions of hell and its sequences, with its use of violence, carnal torture, over-the-top gore, intense sexual content. Paul W.S. Anderson's vision would have easily been an A in my book. That shit is right up my alley. But as it stands, the neutered version of Event Horizon grades that with a B.
All right, Mr. Hootie, step it up, sir. Tell me how great this was.
Fuck the Snyder cut. Apparently we need the Anderson cut.
W.S. Anderson cut, sir. Make sure you get all the initials in there.
Sorry. What, the wrong Anderson cut of, Isle of Dog. 1997's Event Horizon was a blind spot for me, and to be honest, I don't even remember seeing this movie on cable or at my local video store. The trailer really set this film up in my mind as being a body horror forward haunted house in space film. However, what we received came across as a lost and mangled together story with more than a few plot holes along the way. The director, Paul W.S. Anderson, has never appealed to me as an adult due to his films coming off as a ripoff of Michael Bay, who is in turn simply ripping off Tony Scott. That's a 3-level ripoff, folks. The acting does save this film from being a total abomination, but it only saves it by a hair. I give Event Horizon a D.
D, damn. Event Horizon is right in a B movie sweet spot where ambition meets insanity. Basic premise of the film is simple, as Hootie alluded to earlier. What if you made The Shining in space? While this is a decent attempt at that, it's never going to quite reach that level in my heart or mind, or probably anybody else's. Sam Neill chooses scenery, and Larry Fishburne keeps his cool as everything goes to cosmic hell. The practical effects are deliciously grotesque. Peak 90s gore that would make Clive Barker proud. The plot has more holes than a pasta strainer, but when you've got a haunted spaceship that literally went to hell and back, who really cares? Original enough for me, I'll take it. Despite the studio butchering the final cut, it has obviously become a cult classic. And probably for good reason. It's messy, it's bonkers, it's fun, it's got things I've never seen before. For all that, Mr. Anderson will leave my class with a solid B for pure entertainment value, even if this is not quite the masterpiece that it could have been. So that's that, boys. Pretty divisive here amongst the trio.
Glad it's over.
Glad it's over. Moving on. Getting back to our meter circulation here. If you're new to the show, we take a guess at Rotten Tomatoes audience score guesses for these movies. If we're close, aka within 5 points, we can choose what to watch next. Elsewise, we are sent on the Event Horizon for a random movie, courtesy of a random will. Our audience score guesses for Event Horizon were a 48 for Hootie, a 55 for Joey, and a 65 for myself. The actual audience score on this bad boy was a You guessed it, 62, baby. Starting off 2025 with W's as usual for me. This is the first quote-unquote Lega sequel, I think, in the history of the horror films. And I mostly wanted to get this on the board due to my anticipation for a movie called The Monkey that comes out in February, which is directed by Oz Perkins, the guy who directed Longlegs. His dad, of course, is Mr. Anthony Perkins. So, as a tribute to that and a tribute to him, I wanted to get into Psycho 2 to see what it's all about.
Did he direct Psycho 2?
I think Perkins directed Psycho 3, but he is in Psycho 2 for sure. I don't know if he's in 3.
Okay. I think he's in all of them.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, for the sake of his dad, I thought we could get old Oz Perkins a shout out here. All right, folks, we're going to hop on YouTube, watch the official trailer for Psycho 2 from 1983. If you want to do so, watch along with us, and you can hop on our YouTube channel to do so. Otherwise, we'll see you here in a few short moments.
Boy, people going to shit all over that movie. They're going to say it's a turd just because it's a follow-up to Psycho. That's a fucking floater right there, brother. I'm going to go with like a 35.
To just watch Psycho and see how young he was and then see him in that movie.
Yeah, you can definitely see it's been 22 years. He was like, literally looked like a child in the first one.
Yeah.
This was my choice, so I shall abstain. So would you say, Joey, a 35 on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah, I'm going Dookie level on this one. Like, it didn't, like, honestly, it didn't look that bad from the trailer. But I just feel like with being a follow-up to such a beloved film, you know, there's got to be people who just the fact that there would be a sequel.
It was 20 years later, though, man. It's like,
have to leave a bad taste in people's mouths.
It's like generationally, like people have been born and brought to adulthood in between those movies.
You said 35? I'll do, audience score is always higher than I think it's going to be. I'll do 45.
45, all right. I've never seen a frame of any of these sequels.
I don't think I have either, actually.
All right, let me do your favor here. Looks like you can stream Psycho 2 on something called IndieFlix, whatever that is. If you have your IndieFlix subscription handy, you can stream it there. Otherwise, rent or buy from the usual suspects. With all that said, thank you for listening. Check out horriblefilmschool.com to find links to our episodes, social channels, and the merch store. As always, you can support us for free in 3 simple ways: rate, review, and subscribe. And if you're feeling generous, send us some unrated Captain's video logs. I'm going to be sending my support to women working off-planet to support their kiddos back at home.
As always, if you're hearing our voices, tell at least one person you know. Spread the love. Spread the campaign that is the Horrible Film School. And with that, let's pack our bags to go back to the Bates Motel and hang out with our favorite grandmama. And I'm out.
Thanks for all the likes, the subs, the listens, the follows, the downloads. We really appreciate you guys and gals' support, as well as your time and attention. Be sure to join us next time, where we return to Bates Motel in 1983, Psycho 2. Class dismissed.